When wild boars appear, the whole countryside must rise to defend itself. These creatures are not just fierce animals lurking in the bushes. They are the greatest threat to agriculture and the ecosystem of the southern United States. When they reproduce rapidly and invade human settlements, they trample crops, destroy farmland, attack livestock, and can even endanger people. Just a few nights of activity and an entire harvest can be wiped out. That's why managed control and hunting are not for entertainment. They are about protecting the land, safeguarding communities, and maintaining natural balance. Today, we set out with a clear mission: to stop the invasive herd before they can cause more damage. If you want to see the true value behind every hunt, follow us right now. Stepping out of the familiar Toyota, our team slowly moved deeper into the forest. For the past 2 weeks, we had been meticulously tracking every footprint, every patch of overturned earth. The orange of our hunting jackets stood out against the dense woods, a reminder of discipline, safety, and team spirit. Beneath the layer of dry leaves, a new sign appeared: they're close. No further words were needed. Every position was taken as we had practiced hundreds of times. Using long-range observation equipment, we closed the circle from multiple directions, leaving the wild boar herd no chance to escape. When the first gunshots rang out, the opening strike ended quickly and efficiently. It was not just a victory. It was the first spark of hope for the farmers standing on the brink of losing an entire harvest. Without missing a beat, we scanned every open space through our binoculars, weaving between the dense thickets. Whenever a dark shape darted across, the protection plan was set into motion. We were hunting, but always in strict compliance with U.S. wildlife management laws. Every squeeze of the trigger represented a portion of crops saved, everything aimed at one ultimate goal: safeguarding the farm from the threat of wild boars. Effective wild boar hunting comes when hunters seize the moment and capitalize on every opportunity to neutralize the threat completely. In just a single second, the greatest danger to the herd is eliminated. But above all, it is the moment we truly feel our responsibility: maintaining ecological balance, protecting the community, preserving the land for the next harvest. According to the experience of professional hunters, when the lead boar moves alone, it usually means the rest of the herd is hiding nearby. Missing them could turn the entire field into a wasteland in just one night. As expected, the whole herd appeared. The chase erupted fiercely. Bringing them down quickly and accurately is the result of years of training. We don't shoot for the thrill. We shoot to prevent an ecological disaster unfolding right before our eyes. Only when the rustling of the forest ceases does everyone finally exhale, planning a moment of rest to regain strength. On the other side of the steep hillside, amid thick trees, my team was executing the final encirclement strategy. Wild boars are incredibly cunning. They sense danger and can turn to flee in an instant. At that distance, a single misstep could endanger the entire group. But skill, calmness, and discipline allowed us to complete the mission safely. One by one, the destructive targets were brought under control. As the sun sank behind the hills, golden light spilled across the grasslands. The team packed up our gear and the day's harvest and headed back to the village. This hunt succeeded thanks to the seamless coordination of the crew, our equipment, four-legged companions, and a deep understanding of wild boars and the terrain. Here, hunting is not just about marksmanship. It's about making quick decisions, managing risks, and protecting the surrounding environment. We are not merely hunters. We are the silent guardians of this land. With the crops safe, the community can finally rest easy. But this battle is never truly over. The wild boars will return, and so will we, carrying the responsibility of protecting our homeland.
Yeah, there.
Un grupo de jabalíes. No le tiro.
Just a few weeks ago, this cornfield was lush and green, covered with heavy ears of corn. But now, after the harvest, it stands desolate. The dried, cracked corn stalks remain, leaving behind an empty, barren space. This is also the time when the wild boar herd begins to pour in, rummaging through the remains in search of anything left behind. And we knew this was an opportunity we couldn't miss. It was time to act, to stop this invasion and protect the land from the destruction of these wild invaders. From early morning, we hopped into our trusty hunting vehicle and made our way down the road leading to the recently harvested cornfield in Spain. Upon arrival, my eyes scanned the terrain with intense focus, surveying the area. And then, I spotted a familiar dark shape moving in the distance. I immediately adjusted the focus, my heart racing as I recognized it. A wild boar. Without hesitation, my finger squeezed the trigger. The bullet whistled through the air, hitting the mark. At the same time, over on the other side, Kevin was working hard every second to handle another target. A decisive start, showcasing both skill and perfect coordination within the team, right from the very first moments. Undeterred, we pressed on, continuing to scan the cornfield. Every step was quick and deliberate, for wild boars are never easy to catch. It wasn't long before another target appeared within our sights. A series of well-aimed shots rang out, each one hitting its mark, but the boar still surged forward with terrifying speed, its instincts kicking in as it darted into the corn stalks to escape. However, the massive 300-kilogram beast lay motionless not far from there, a victory that came as a surprise, causing the tension to dissipate in an instant. And the determination for the hunt was only heightened. The sun was high, and after a fruitless walk, my team and I decided to switch to ATVs to search for the prey across the open fields. There it is. Kevin quickly signaled to me. Once we had the direction, we sped ahead to intercept. Each shot was precise, taking down the target in the blink of an eye. Joy quickly became apparent, as all our planning and seamless coordination came together perfectly, with no beast escaping our grasp. After our lunch break, with the clock striking 3 p.m., we quickly made our way south across the field. While searching for signs of wild boar, Jay suddenly signaled that the prey had just escaped his pursuit. Drawing from years of hunting experience, we quickly pinpointed the boar's direction. As soon as the target appeared, a series of shots rang out. In less than a minute, the beast collapsed in the middle of the field, with cheers echoing. A testament to the skill and decisiveness of seasoned hunters. After hours of battling, the afternoon sun began to tint the entire field with a reddish hue. The wild boars, panicked, hid within the cornfields that had only been half harvested. We selected an ideal position to encircle the field, patiently waiting for them to show themselves. Their heightened vigilance made the pursuit much more difficult, but thanks to our patience and persistence, we quickly took down more of the elusive targets. Just when we thought it was all over, we returned with our trophies in hand. It seemed fate had other plans, as a few straggling boars remained scattered in the area. In just a few minutes, with swift coordination, each one of them fell, one after another. Once again, our skill and vigilance allowed us to maintain the upper hand until the very last second. Unbelievable! A terrifying scene unfolding across America. Fields and crops vanish overnight. None other than wild boars. In an effort to protect the peace of the villages, skilled hunters have set out on a noble mission to push back the threat of wild boars ravaging the farmlands. This hunt is not just a battle, but an intense journey to safeguard the fruits of the farmer's labor. To prepare for today's hunt, the hunters are outfitting themselves with state-of-the-art tools, from powerful rifles, high-tech binoculars, to suppressors to maintain the secrecy of their positions, all for the safety and tranquility of the village. Follow them closely. Witness the breathtaking moments and the unpredictable action. Will they succeed? Stay tuned to find out. Kevin's team marches toward the field, the first location of the day. They quickly disperse, each taking their designated ambush positions. The entire team remains silent, waiting. About 10 minutes later, from the east, Jay spots a group of wild boars. They're entering the area, starting to root and destroy the crops. Jay raises his rifle, locking onto the lead boar, the largest one in the herd. Boom! The beast is hit, but still tries to escape. The rest of the boars panic, scattering wildly into the thick bushes, disappearing from sight. Undeterred, Kevin quickly targets a lone boar that's fallen behind the group. A sharp shot rings out, shattering the silence. The boar drops instantly. The first victory fuels the team's momentum.
Yapıştır.
On the other side, Jay is silently closing in on a wild boar hiding among the bushes. James, stationed at the roadblock, moves quietly, holding his breath as he crouches behind a patch of grass. Suddenly, a large shadow bursts out from the underbrush. The wild boar charges straight toward the field. Without hesitation, James pulls the trigger. The sound of the gunshot echoes. The wild boar collapses instantly, unable to cause any more damage. One shot, one decisive blow, saving the entire field. Soon after, the sound of hounds echoed from afar, signaling the appearance of the target. James and his team quickly pinpoint the sound, moving to a strategic position for a clear shot. A large shadow emerges from a distance. A wild boar is moving slowly toward the field. James, with his vast experience, doesn't rush. He waits, carefully lining up his shot on the boar's head. Boom! The shot rings out sharply. The wild boar collapses onto the cold earth, unable to react. The threat has been neutralized before it could cause any harm. This isn't just a game, it's a duty to protect the livelihoods of the people, and the battle is far from over. After taking a break to recover, the team moves westward toward a dense thicket, the perfect hiding spot for the wild boars. From a distance, they can hear the hounds barking, a sound that echoes through the air. Using the trained instincts of a seasoned hunter, Kevin quickly takes his position. Sure enough, a massive wild boar suddenly bursts out of the bushes, charging toward Kevin at full speed. Without a second's hesitation, he squeezes the trigger. The boar collapses, barely a meter away from him. If he'd hesitated for even a split second, Kevin might not be standing here now. What do you think of this intense face-to-face showdown? Drop a comment below and let us know. A moment later, the sound of hounds suddenly echoed from the trail, signaling the target's presence. James and his team rushed forward, quickly pinpointing the location. They take cover behind thick bushes, rifles aimed forward. The atmosphere becomes tense. A wild boar appears. Without hesitation, James squeezes the trigger. The sharp crack of the shot fills the air. The boar collapses, unable to take another step. A danger has been eliminated. The perfect coordination between the hunting dogs and the hunter's precise shooting skills forms the solid step toward protecting this year's harvest. The hunt has become exhausting. The team is preparing to pack up and rest. A moment of silence envelops the forest, only to be shattered by the urgent barking of the hounds. A clear signal. This is the final target of the day. Every year around this time, the villagers of Gaziel-Kum gather for the great wild boar hunt. Not just for sport, but to protect their crops, livestock, and to stockpile food for the harsh winter ahead. This year, I was lucky to join my close friend on this intense journey. Well prepared, we stepped into the hunting grounds, a place that tests the courage and steel will of the bravest hunters. Join us in this thrilling hunt, where every moment is a fight for survival, and every skill is sharpened in the fire of challenge. Navigating the rugged trails leading into Gaziel-Kum's hills, I quietly drove our trusty hunting vehicle to the ambush point. The moment my boots hit the ground, I moved with steady steps toward the chosen spot. The wind howled across the barren hilltop as I picked a high vantage point with a clear view, quickly melting into the shadows. Soon enough, a target appeared on the far slope. This was the golden moment. The bullet left the barrel, flying straight and true. The beast fell, a perfect opening shot, setting the tone for what promises to be a hunt full of adrenaline. After a silent wait with no luck, she crept along the hillside, shifting direction to track a new prey. Suddenly, Jay stopped, eyes bright. "There it is," he whispered. I immediately adjusted my scope, locking onto the target. Shots rang out crisp and sharp. The lead boar dropped with the first shot. The rest scattered in panic. But despite their frantic escape, none got past the deadly, precise coordination between me and the team. A flawless strike. Not one escape. No mistakes. The hunt pressed on. Suddenly, the baying of hunting dogs echoed nearby. A clear signal. The boars were close. The dogs, blending instinct and training, drove the prey right into our trap. There it was. The beast entered my sights. No hesitation. Bullets sliced through the air, decisive and accurate. The wild boar collapsed, followed mid-charge. Gunfire erupted from multiple directions in a coordinated assault. We quickly regrouped, hauling our hard-earned trophies from day one, ready for the next challenge. The next morning, snow blanketed the hills in a cold, silent shroud, but the frost didn't slow us down. Instead, it sharpened our focus. The hunt continued, determination etched clearly against the icy white backdrop.
Göz at, göz at!
Battling sub-zero chills, we quietly approached the hillside, setting a new trap in silence. Through binoculars, the herd came into view, some straying alone. I chose to track a lone target, careful not to disturb the whole group. When the moment was right, I squeezed the trigger. Yeah, a perfect hit! A shot so clean there was no room for error. Without giving them time to react, my team and I quickly took down the rest. Gunshots echoed through the hill like the fierce anthem of the hunt. The fallen lay still, a testament to cold-blooded skill honed to perfection. We moved on to the neighboring hill, silently scanning every corner. The thick snow cover made it easy to spot dark shadows trying to hide. Without hesitation, shots cracked, shattering the silence. The chase ended with a thunderous roar. Once again, we confirmed our absolute dominion over this harsh land. The cold tightened its grip. Bone-chilling, intense silence cloaked every step. Wild boars scattered across the area like stubborn ghosts against the white snow. Hours of pursuit, and not one escaped. One by one, their bodies fell, marking the end of a relentless battle. The dense forests of Tuscany are not only beautiful, but also filled with countless mysteries and challenges. Here, wild boars, intelligent and powerful creatures, have the ability to blend seamlessly into the thick foliage, making hunting them an arduous trial. They are not just prey, but a true test of skill, patience, and the ability to handle the wild. That's why we decided to step into this forest, not only to hunt, but to conquer the challenges it presents. The early morning mist still clung to the forest as we arrived, ready to face the challenge that awaited us. Armed with specialized weapons and necessary support gear, we entered a hunt full of danger. Sensing that this area would likely reveal a target, I decided to take up a concealed position. Then, a familiar pungent scent hit the air, one I knew well. A series of shots rang out, aimed directly at the source of the smell. Precisely, there it was, the wild boar. Quickly advancing, the dark figure was not easily defeated, standing like an immovable rock. My finger tightened on the trigger, and the shot rang out. Precise, disabling the boar's fierce resistance. A perfect start, signaling a journey full of promise. Advancing deeper into the forest, every step we took was cautious, not daring to relax even for a moment. The hunting dogs pressured a target, their barking relentless, like the sound of a death toll. The boar tried to escape, but all its escape routes were sealed. At close range, Jay took his shot. Bang! The prey collapsed, ending its futile attempt to flee. Thanks to the seamless coordination and patience of our dogs, we had all the time and space needed to act. With the perfect range, Jay faced no obstacles. The cold, precise shot sealed the fate of this destructive creature. After surveying the terrain, we realized the wild boars here were incredibly smart. Whether alone or in a group, they always hid within the dense canopy, highly alert to any movement around them. We decided to spread out into different areas, each of us taking up a position to easily spot and deal with the targets. It wasn't long before a familiar figure appeared within our sights. The moment had arrived, and a precise shot was fired. The boar collapsed immediately. same time, Jay's shots rang out from the west, loud and rapid, like a clear report signaling that the deployed strategy had proven effective. After the loud blasts, the wild boar began to panic and flee towards the south of the forest. I informed Nick of the checkpoint location, and he quickly positioned himself, patiently observing every movement. There it was. It suddenly darted across. The opportunity had come. Nick tightened his finger on the trigger. A swift, precise shot. The prey collapsed right on the spot. A victory earned through patience and precision in every moment. Suspecting that wild boars were still hiding in this area, we continued to scan every nook and cranny. The tension hung in the air, my hand never loosening its grip on the rifle. As soon as the target entered the crosshairs, my finger tightened on the trigger. Perfect! A sense of satisfaction surged through me. All those hours of training had finally paid off. This area, with its limited visibility, was no match for our sharp eyes. Every step, every movement was meticulously planned, ready to take down the prey flawlessly. Just a few minutes later, the target emerged. A decisive shot rang out, and the beast collapsed among the trees. The prize secured, beyond our expectations. The wild boar population in the US has skyrocketed to nearly 10 million this year, according to the US Department of Agriculture, USDA. Texas has been hit the hardest, accounting for 1/3 of the total boar population in the country. These creatures are incredibly elusive, often hiding in dense forests along the edges of fields, making hunting extremely difficult. Despite facing numerous challenges and dangers ahead, we pressed on into the battlefield to deal with the ever-growing, uncontrollable wild boar numbers. Beneath the faint light filtering through the canopy, casting its glow on the dense forest like a veil, we knew we were walking into a battle of endurance and resolve, one that would test us to our limits. Before the sun had even risen, the whole team was already on the vehicle, heading to the hunting location. Once we arrived, we began weaving our way into the dense forest, where the thick trees and tangled vines made every step a careful one. Suddenly, the sound of the hunting dogs echoed not far from me. Without hesitation, I grabbed my rifle and sprinted toward the source of the sound. There it was, the wild boar. But I couldn't shoot yet. I carefully moved closer, looking for the perfect angle. And then, boom! The shot was fired swiftly, bringing the beast down helplessly. A clean and efficient takedown. Well deserved for the team's effort since the early hours of the morning. The silence suddenly became eerie, lasting for 15 minutes before it was broken by the frantic barking of the hunting dogs from the east side of the forest. "There's something over there," I whispered to myself as I raised my rifle. Right in front of me, the dogs had skillfully cornered and trapped a massive wild boar. I aimed carefully, squeezing the trigger decisively. There was no escape left for it. It was now caught in the grip of the dogs. An outstanding shot. In just a few short seconds, the intense confrontation was over. It felt as though I had just been through a true life or death struggle. The dense terrain like this is a huge advantage for wild boars to hide and escape, but this time, we weren't alone. The well-trained hunting dogs were always on alert, assisting in tracking every step. Spotting the target amidst the thick vines, the shot rang out, the smell of gunpowder mixing with the damp earth. One more beast down. It was no challenge to successfully make the shot at such a close range. After a brief rest to regain our strength, the team quickly got back into rhythm, continuing the pursuit through the challenging forest. Suddenly, a strange sound echoed faintly from afar. I immediately raised my binoculars, scanning the trees and the tall grass. Soon enough, a wild boar appeared silently. I stayed calm, slowly raising my rifle. The air grew tense, taut like a bowstring. The silence was suffocating. Then, the fateful moment came. The trigger was pulled, and the blast shattered the stillness. A perfect shot ended the intense standoff with precision. As we spread out to track the prey individually, I suddenly heard the hunting dogs barking, their sound growing louder by the second. Instinctively, I aimed and squeezed the trigger, but this creature wasn't easily subdued. With its massive size and tremendous strength, it fought to break free. No matter how stubborn it was, the beast couldn't escape the fate that had been sealed. The sun had set, and the air was cool and refreshing. I happened to spot a dense thicket, exactly the type of terrain where wild boars often hide. Just as expected, a wild boar was curled up inside, surrounded by the hunting dogs. Without hesitation, I squeezed the trigger. Shot was precise, and it seemed that today, luck was truly on our side. This victory was a result of skill, experience, and sharp strategy, but also a testament to and creating an unmatched power.